Alright, hello everybody. Alright, hello everybody. My name's Peter. Today we've got some more mail. I'm opening this one because I feel really bad about it. As you might be able to tell, it's a little bit crumpled up, and that's because it was wedged and crumpled and destroyed down at the bottom of a book bag, or maybe my pocket, or in the bottom of my shoe, or let's open this up and see what's inside. It says, "Dear Peter." Wait, it says, "P.S. Please don't read this on YouTube. I'm kind of shy." Okay. That one's for later. Alright, next item of business. Alright, exhibit number 2. This lumpy package in a bubble mailer. Where'd all my knives go? I have to use scissors like some kind of Philistine. Okay, we have these fabric marqueurs. This, more fabric marqueurs. This seems to be a letter or message of some sort, and this in tissue paper. What are these? Tiny duffel bags? They're all different, but they're all the same size. That must mean they all have their own type of name. We have here one that zips open and zips closed along the top. I'm having Pringle can flashbacks, right? Hand's not going to fit. And then one here, shaped like a paper boat along the bottom. Too small for a hat, but big enough to put these pens inside of. Almost. Maybe if I try a little harder. And then this one, perfectly rectangular, as you can see. They're all just midnight black inside, like a deep Mary Poppins bag type void in there. Who knows how low these can go. Alright, let's look at the message. "Hi Peter, I hope you enjoy drawing on these pouches." Oh, I made them myself! I made this. "Feel free to sell them if you want. I taught myself how to sew last winter and have..." Do you guys ever want to say this as sew? "Sew last winter and have made about 20 of these since then, so I've had time to perfect my technique. They're very sturdy and should last a really long time. I also lined the inside with black in case the markers bleed through. I haven't tried these myself yet. I probably got too many markers, but I didn't know which kind you'd like, so I just got a bunch. Have fun. Carolina." Oh, thanks, Carolina. I should have assumed that it was someone as able-bodied and craft-headed as you, that these were handmade. So now's where I say all sorts of good things about them, like how soft and comfy they are, and I wish I could crawl up inside them and fall asleep, and they smell good, and they're really wonderful. Thank you, Carolina. I think it's cool your name is Carolina, too. I feel like it's usually just Caroline, isn't it? That's cool. That's a cool take on the name. I live in North Carolina. So, shout out. This one is cool. Like, you don't usually see pen bags of this form factor, you know? This whole thing going on. I'm afraid I'd lose pens in here and gotta shake them all out. But no, I'm sure there's a good application for it. I like it. I like it. They look professionally. They look professionally done. I'm just bad at zippers is all. I skipped every day of zipper class. So I just wasn't there. I just wasn't there. Alright, so this is a real option here. And this will be cool to do because these are nice markers. Tulip, that's a good brand. Alright. Let's keep this in mind and open the one other package I've had set aside. I picked this out of the pile of packages because it says video cassettes on the side. That's so cool and retro. Oh! There's a letter. It says, Dear Peter, hi Peter. Thought you might find this stuff interesting. The plastic thing is a pom-pom maker. Just look up Clover pom-pom maker for a tutorial. I don't look at tutorials. You always remind me a bit of Bob Ross because your voice is nice to listen to. And of course the hair. I have curly hair too. The struggle is real. My hair's not a struggle. It's a blessing. Anyways, always thought you'd make... What's with this cursive? Look, it's clear down here that you know how to write regular. But why are you looping and slurring all your letters and words together? I can't read that. Okay. Thanks for being... I'll come back to it later. I'll go find a cursive specialist to decipher it. It's fine. I'm sure it's a wonderful thing. Thanks for being awesome and weird and thoughtful. T. P.S. Don't show this part in a video, but... black walnut husk ink. I can make my own ink. That's like what I used to try to do once. But this is like all the ingredients in a little bag, huh? I'm afraid to open it. I'll probably get everywhere. I'm going to lay that aside for later. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a quill. That's awesome too. But lately I've got this hat. I'll show you. I got this hat and I've been putting feathers in it. So I was like, oh, another feather for my cap, right? So that's what I thought. That's what I thought of. I'll tuck it in here for now, just for now. I'll come back to that later, right? So we have some like scarves and stuff. I'm not really sure what to do with these, but what do you do with? Did the message mention these? Was it the part I couldn't read? I'm not... Oh my goodness. Oh, are these for making the pom-pom? Pom-pom. What is a pom-pom? Pom. Oh my goodness. There's so many. Here we have some, they're going everywhere, whatever they are. Oh, they're tiny beads, I think. Okay. That's going to be a disaster one day when I... Okay, here's like a cool little woodworking project. I do like the angles and stuff on here. The cross section. How none of the sides are like perfectly parallel. Here's was this like an origami rose that fell apart a little bit? There we go. Tuck that right back in there. Beautiful. Another feather. It's stuck in something. I think this one broke a little bit. Oh, this one's just a regular feather. Another feather in my cap. I'm afraid of damaging the quail tip. The quill tip. Did I say quail? What do you guys think? Ka-chow! Pretty sick. Okay. Here we have, oh, is this the device that was being spoken of? I'm sure if I use this right, I could summon some sort of alien spacecraft. If it wasn't in baby blue, I would be convinced of that. Interesting. Very interesting. 12 colored pencils, tin set. 12 colored pencils, tin set. And 12 sketching pencils, tin set. Beautiful. 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 Look at those. Pre-sharpened, everything. Some of them pre-used, already broken in. Well. No, another feather. This one is, oh, so it says it's a goose quill pen. I kind of want to try using that. I have 2 of them now. I have to. I have to do it. Let's go. Alright. I happen to have here some parchment paper, which to me seems perfect, right? And it comes in several different colors, as you can see. There's like peach, plum, parsnip, and paisley. So I'm going to choose this, whatever I said this, whatever this one is, okay. Oh, I used to have like 1 million Post-it notes. How did I lose them all? It's okay. Dip pens are scary indeed, especially ones made out of goose feathers. How deep am I supposed to dip it, do you think? What do you guys think? Am I gonna make a huge mess? How deep do you go? Let's try. It's definitely got a singular scratchy type quality to it. Dear loved one. I forgot how M's work. My quill is very dip scratchy. So as you can see, these are very scratchy, and you're going to be very thankful that you can't hear this the whole time I'm working. Alright, so I'm going to draw a picture now with this. I'm going to be dipping a lot and maybe splotching some ink, but I think it's going to work. This is like nails on a chalkboard. I think it's going to be okay. Alright, let's go. So, anyways, like I said before, I am and was and are deathly afraid of dip pens for reasons like, let me rattle them off: drips, drops, dribbles, and other just terrible artsy mishaps, which did happen. I'll spoil it for you. They did happen a little bit in this drawing, but not in a world-ending sort of way. Everything went on, and I finished the drawing. What frustrated me even more, the drips and dribbles that did happen here in this drawing, I ended up being able to incorporate into the drawing, you know, happy little mistakes sort of things, happy little accidents, whatever. But what frustrated me more was the times that I did the good old smudgeroos, you know, put my hand, I was drawing on one part of the drawing, then I put my hand on top of some ink that was still wet, because this does lay down the ink pretty liberally, this goose feather quill, and which is really good and really satisfying and fun to draw with, but it also means that the lines you draw take longer to dry, so you just have to keep that in mind, because I put my hand down on some lines that I thought I had drawn a good long time ago, and no, I just smudged the fudge out of them. And there they were, and those were some of the last lines I drew that I was frustrated with. I mean, I guess you'll see it there at the end, but you just gotta say, oh well, and that's it, and go on to the next drawing and try to be more careful. You learn, you tuck it away in your head. You say, don't put my hand on wet ink. You think about it, right? The dribbles, look, I think is that just something inherent to dip pens? Sometimes like a big dropple of ink comes out of it when you didn't want to, either as you're drawing or as you're just moving the pen over the thing. Like you dip the pen in the inkwell, right? And then you kind of drag the tip of it across the rim of the inkwell a few times to make sure it's not overloaded. I'm asking because I'm not sure. Like, I've never read any documentation or manuscripts or watched any tutorials or taken any classes about how to work dip pens. But all I know is that this is the first time I've used a dip pen in like 2 years, because the last time I used a dip pen, it dropped a huge dripply drop right in the middle of something I took a long time to draw, and I got frustrated with dip pens and didn't use them for a long time. But anyways, so you load up the dip pen and then you unload it, right? A little bit, kind of touching and tipping and scraping against the rim of the inkwell, right? But what goes on there? I feel like sometimes I just don't get it quite good enough. And the thing about a quill, which is they're kind of the same shape as like a metal dip pen that you can get, but these are completely. Quill is completely round, and I think a few times I had the quill too deep in there, and it was completely full up of ink up in the quill, the cylinder of the quill, because they're hollow. And I think I wasn't able to get that out of there sometimes, or sometimes I even gave it a little shake. I don't know. But I had a few mishaps. But like I said, they weren't world-ending. I worked them in. I worked with them. Happy little accidents. And I think by the end of the drawing, they even look good, because, like I said, I'm always very hesitant to put big splotches of dark blackness there in the drawing, and that's really what you need sometimes, just for contrast's sake. So maybe, that's good. But sometimes it's frustrating. And I can't tell if the dip pens are better or worse for this, but maybe that's just the nature of dip pens, and maybe it's just something you got to get used to. Like cars, for example, are pretty bad, because you can drive into a wall with a car and kill yourself. But that's why you take driver's ed, right? And that's why you're careful when you're driving and you pay attention. Likewise, if you have a dip pen, you should take dip pen ed and be careful with it and pay attention to how much ink is loaded up on the tip of the pen and in there, or whatever, right? So I'm trying to figure out if it really is like a good or a bad thing that this keeps on happening with dip pens. Like, is it the pen's fault or is it my fault? And are like all these other pens, like, there's just so many other pens out there that don't do this. That don't dribble ink all over my drawings. This one is pretty fun, pretty satisfying. It's different, it's pretty, it's cute, it's a feather. It's got all that crazy stuff going for it. But there's that one huge drawback of it sabotaging me. What do you guys think? This one, I think out of all the like flexible nibs and stuff I've seen, dip pens do seem to have the potential to flex the most. I don't know if that's really true, but that's just out of what I've seen in my experience, that seems to be the case. So if you want to get some crazy flexing and railroading going on, you probably want to get a nice nib. You just attach it to something, dip it in there, go crazy. But and then after that, I guess it's just up to you how careful. And I think that could be really cool, because you get really into it. You dip carefully. You touch it against the rim of the ink reservoir. You're just very there. You're very zen, You've got Enya playing or whatever, and it's just all perfect, and you're very careful, and you don't make any sudden movements, because if you do make sudden movements with it in your hand, then you will flick ink everywhere. But I believe in you. I think you can do it. I obviously don't believe in me, because I keep making mistakes and flicking ink everywhere. But it's also still not bad. I'm just saying the same thing over and over again now, but thank you all for sending these packages. They were great. I have more to open still. I know these videos get kind of crazy with like most of the video being me opening packages instead of drawing, but I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. So I don't know. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and I hope you all have a good day. Okay? All right. Goodbye. I love you.